We all work for iron ore. You may be wondering, why is a copper guy talking about iron ore? I've been working on this project for 7 years, and Dave Andrews and the team had discovered this project more than 20 years ago. So I'm very happy to give you a Simandou project update and progress to date. Now, I've been like a real estate developer. I've led the development of this project, and now I'm going to turn it over to Bob the builder, and Mark Davies is going to come and build this amazing project. So he's our construction crew. I kind of secured the commercial agreement. So Mark, I'll turn it over to you shortly. Now, Simandou is not only the largest multinational investment in Guinea's history, it is the largest greenfield project of its kind on African soil. Now, we're talking about a high-caliber Tier 1 resource, the largest known untapped iron ore deposit of its kind. Its high-grade, low-impurity formation makes this a rare opportunity to diversify and grow our iron ore portfolio. Now, particularly as we see demand growth in favor of multiple pathways to decarbonize steelmaking. Now, in lockstep with our strategy to provide the materials the world needs, we need to decarbonize. I also want to emphasize the importance of partnership. We're partnering with the Republic of Guinea, the Guinean people, our employees, our local communities, while simultaneously partnering with our closest and most important Chinese investment partners and customers to make Simandou happen is groundbreaking. Now, I truly believe Simandou is a testament how Rio Tinto is finding better ways to deliver these immense projects and bring them to the market. I like to think of it as a new era of co-development. So where does Simandou fit in? A simple answer to that is you can be part of Simandou, or you can stand on the sidelines and watch it happen. Having Simandou in Rio's portfolio can and will strengthen our global position by building an unrivaled portfolio across 4 continents, with portside blending options and strong connectivity to our customer base. Through IOC, actually, we have been supplying high-grade ore to the market since our first shipment from Canada in 1954. And Simandou adds another pillar that will provide the opportunity to expand our high-grade offering through blast furnace and DR products at the time when the world needs them to meet its decarbonization goals. With Simandou added to our product portfolio, our options get stronger and more resilient. And as Vivek mentioned, the value in use premium for a 67 Fe product could be as high as $80 per ton at a $100 carbon price. Now, I'm told the highest Fe grade you can ever achieve is 70%, so 67 is like as somebody called it, a caviar of iron ore. Now, there are 3 dimensions that make up this massive undertaking. The CTG joint venture between the Republic of Guinea, SIMFER, and WCS will own and operate the co-developed rail and port infrastructure. And SIMFER, which is a joint venture between Rio Tinto and CIOH, led by our partner Chinalco, will develop Simandou blocks 3 and 4, and WCS will be developing blocks 1 and 2. Now, both mines will be the foundation customers of the infrastructure, and through the investment, enter into long-term take-or-pay tariff commitments. This is a partnership that brings together some heavy hitters, each with their own complementary skills and expertise. Now, in addition to its participation in SIMFER through its participation in the CIOH holding, Baowu, the largest steelmaker in the world, has joined forces with WCS in blocks 1 and 2, with the stated option to increase its ownership to 51% once it reaches commercial production. Baowu's participation is a significant leap forward in validating the case for Simandou, and comes when we're also partnering with them, our Western Range joint venture in the Pilbara with Simon Trott. Now I'll hand it over to Bob the builder. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Bold. It's been a pleasure working with you on this one. So, sort of keeping his promises is now my trick. As Bold said at the beginning, Simandou is the world's largest integrated mine and infrastructure project. Now, I've had the wonderful opportunity to visit Guinea with our project team about 3 times this year, and it's absolutely impressive to see the progress that has occurred over that timescale. The project scope includes not just the construction of the mines in southeast Guinea, but also the rail and port infrastructure required to export the ore across Guinea to the coast. Each of SIMFA and WCS will independently develop their own mines, and then the Republic of Guinea has brought us together as co-developers to co-develop the rail and port infrastructure through a joint venture. SIMFA is responsible for building a rail spur to connect blocks 3 and 4 to the main line, and for the second phase of the port at Morabaya, while WCS will connect the mainline rail and the spur to blocks 1 and 2 and the first phase of the port. The SIMFA mine is expected to ramp up to produce 60 million tonnes per year of high-grade iron ore at an average grade of 65.5% and with low levels of impurities over the next 26 years mine life. This is a truly world-class resource and provides Rio Tinto with another route to supply iron ore into the growing steel industry. The SIMFA infrastructure scope includes a 70-kilometre rail spur capable of using cars with a 25-tonne axle load and includes the construction of 5 bridges and 1 tunnel. The SIMFA port facility will have the capacity to export 60 million tonnes per annum of ore using transshipment vessels to carry the ore from the dock to an offshore mooring where it will offload onto large ocean-going vessels. Meanwhile, WCS has the responsibility for constructing the approximately 550-kilometre main rail line and the spur connecting to blocks 1 and 2. They're also responsible for the first phase of the port, which also has a capacity of 60 million tonnes per annum. We're obviously working very closely with WCS to ensure the alignment of our infrastructure schedules. First production at the SIMFA mine is expected in 2025, with a ramp up to full production of 60 million tonnes per annum due by 2028. I've got to say, the progress at Simandou is palpable and exciting. As you can see from these pictures, the enabling work on the mine and the infrastructure scope is already well underway and is actually meeting our scheduled targets. At the SIMFA mine, our bulk earthworks contracts are mobilised and they're working on the cut and fill activities for the haul roads up the mountain. On the SIMFA rail spur, the contractor has started work on the construction road alongside the rail route. The tunnel portals have been commenced and clearance of the corridor is running ahead of plan. Construction camps have been built to support our rail construction, and we currently have capacity for over 2,600 people in the rail camps. At phase 2 of the port, we've submitted an update to our existing environmental and social impact assessment and expect to commence work next year. The Simandou project is being constructed by a joint venture partnership where, as Bold said, we're going to bring the best practice from each party to help meet the challenge of building this world's largest combined mining and infrastructure project. The total capex for the SIMFA scope is expected to be $11.6 billion, of which Rio Tinto's share is about $6.2 billion. The remainder will be funded by our long-term joint venture partners, CIOH, and the CIOH consortium, as Bold said, is led by Chinalco, which has considerable experience operating in Guinea through its existing bauxite business. And while Rio Tinto is the manager of the SIMFA scope, Chinalco strengthens our joint venture by bringing its own expertise in Guinea, as well as the broader Chinese infrastructure and engineering supplier base. We've already used to great success the Chinese Design Institutes to revise the project scope and are using Chinese rail construction firm CR18 and earthworks contractor Kovac. We're also developing a strong local content program where our ultimate objective is to build local capacity and capability that leaves a lasting legacy for Guinea. From Rio Tinto's perspective, we bring many strengths built up over 150 years of history, not the least our deep experience and our safety culture. Simandou is a complex and challenging project and is utilising the talents of thousands of employees and contractors. SIMFA expects to have a headcount of over 7,000 by the end of this year, including over 6,000 contractors. And this will grow further as we ramp up construction activity next year. At present, Ghanaian nationals represent about 85% of our employees on site. Managing such a rapidly assembled and large workforce requires a strong anchor to be in place. And for this, we've developed our Culture by Design program, locally known as Wantanara, which means we are together. And this is to provide a common sense of purpose and a way of working together for the entire SIMFA team. And most importantly, this includes adapting how we communicate on safety to ensure that we engage our Ghanaian workforce. I think as Bold mentioned, Simandou is a real marriage of risk and opportunity due to its immense scale, its geography, and the nation-changing characteristics. And we have to recognise that Simandou is going to open up a whole new iron ore sector in a largely undeveloped part of Guinea. So critical to the responsible development of that and our infrastructure is the joint venture agreements, which reflect internationally recognised standards and expectations that SIMFA and WCS have jointly committed to. These standards enable us to move forward by building on the strong foundations already in place to look not only at managing risk, but also to actively ensure that we are focused on the opportunities. Simandou will be a game-changing project for Guinea in so many respects, in terms of fiscal revenue, of infrastructure, regional economic development, as well as through skills development and employment across the footprint. I truly believe that Simandou's huge potential upside will bring positive long-term impact to Guinea and the Ghanaian people over the life of its operations, similar to our experience at Rio Tinto, which many of you will have seen earlier in this year. I'm now going to hand over to Peter, who's going to discuss our capital allocation, financials, and put all of this into context. Thanks, Peter.